राघवेन्द्राय सत्यनमृताय च भजतां प्रवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे आपादमणिपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाप्तिं स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति मनोरथाः. हरिः ओं. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So now Prahalad will go and do that. Hare Srinivasa.
Prahalad, Namaskar, you want to start?
Yeah, Prahalad, you have to unmute and go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Namaskara. Narayanam Suragurum Jagadekanatham Bhakta Priyam Sakalaloka Namaskritam Cha Traigunya Varjitamajam Vibhumadhyamisham Pande Bhavagnam Amarasura Siddhavandyam Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Today I wanted to talk about the concept of Vairagya or detachment, which is a very fundamental principle in the Bhagavad Gita. And we have talked about this in some of the earlier sessions in our class. Vairagya involves a state of mental freedom from desires and attachments that allows us to perform our duties without being swayed by our outcomes. So to go more into depth about that, Vairagya is not about simply renouncing worldly responsibilities. It's about performing them, but with a sense of inner detachment. Vairagya emphasizes the
Prahalad, I think we lost, I cannot hear you. I don't know if we lost the connection. Others are able to hear?
No, we lost the connection. I cannot hear.
We lost the connection.
Okay, I'll just message him in the chat and yeah, I think he's we'll give it a minute. Let's see if he is able to rejoin.
Sorry, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm going to call him and see if he's there and
Okay, good. I
it
am not
device.
missing.
Yeah, I'll just
Thank you.
thanks. Prahalad, I think we lost the connection. Are you able to hear us? I think he's just connecting.
We lost everybody, I think.
No, everybody else is here.
Oh, everybody else is here? Oh, okay.
Prahalad is unable to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're back. Yeah.
think some issue with his connection. It seems like he's unable to connect. I see him trying, but
It looks like there's some audio issue for him or something.
yes. Prahlad, are you back?
Yeah, sorry, my internet is not working properly.
Okay. Yeah. So
Should I continue from where I left off?
yes, please.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so yeah, going into Vairagya, Vairagya is not about renouncing worldly responsibilities, but it's about performing them with a sense of detachment. Vairagya emphasizes the temporary nature of material pleasures and guides us towards spiritual goals. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are many different shlokas that describe Vairagya. The first one is the 35th shloka in the 6th chapter. Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. In this shloka, Krishna states that the mind is very restless and very difficult to control. But by doing abhyasa or practice of vairagya or detachment, you can control the mind. This shows that practicing vairagya can control all the different desires that gets thrown at an individual by their mind. And vairagya is much more about mental discipline rather than physical or worldly renunciation. In modern terms, vairagya can be thought of as mindfulness. By taking time to recognize how lucky we are to be in this moment and in this specific place and time in the history of the whole world, and the joy that God has given us to in this world, we can get a greater sense of happiness and fulfillment. And by focusing on our actions with a sense of duty without attachment to their outcomes. And this is also described in the 47th shloka of the 2nd chapter. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. Here, the shloka is saying that you have the right to perform your duties, but you're not entitled to the fruits of your actions. So don't be motivated by the results of your actions, but you should also not desire to stay away from your duties. So this again describes the essence of vairagya, which is telling us to act without attachment to the results of our actions, but do the duties that are prescribed to us. Vairagya is also intertwined with jnana and bhakti. When you understand the impermanence of the world through jnana, vairagya naturally follows because you realize that nothing really is in our control in this world, and all we can do is just do what duty we are given to the best of our ability. In the 39th shloka in the 4th chapter, it said, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparas sanyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhi gachati. This basically means that those who are devoted and who have control over their senses will obtain knowledge. And this said knowledge is probably about the impermanence of the world. And having gained that knowledge, you can attain a sense of peace. And Krishna states that with faith and control over the senses, you gain knowledge, and that leads to the peace. And thus, from jnana and bhakti, comes Vairagya. Vairagya, in conclusion, is very essential for spiritual growth, and adopting a mindset of Vairagya will most definitely help in modern terms with the mental health of an individual. By realizing that we really have nothing in control and there's nothing that we can possibly worry about in life because none of it belongs to us and none of it is within our capabilities to control. It gives life a sense of very like easygoingness, but the challenge is maintaining this in the long term. It may be possible to maintain this during meditation, during our daily prayers for that 1 or 2 hours we spend every day, but maintaining it throughout the whole day and then for a whole week and then for months and then years and then for a whole life on end seems almost impossible. But all we can do is try our best, and every time we continue to try, we will improve slightly and slightly. And eventually, with the grace of Krishna, we will get to be able to maintain this sense of vairagya for the whole of our lives. So let Krishna bless our journey, and Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Okay, thank you, Prahlad.
Okay, now it's nice, Prahlad. So I took one topic and talked about that. After Shyam finishes, then I'll give a comment about both of them. You did a very good job, Prahlad. Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Narayanam Suragurum Jagadekanatham Bhaktapriyam Sakalaloka Namaskritam Cha Traigunya Varjitamajam Vibhumadhyamisham Vande Bhavagnam Amarasura Siddhavandyam. Shri Harivayu Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. In the shloka that I have selected for Anuvada today is the 16th shloka of the second adhyaya. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontas tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. Reasons I've selected this shloka, one is this shloka seems a little challenging to understand at first glance. And the second reason I picked this shloka is because I felt like this shloka has helped me personally in many situations. And I just thought I would share what I've understood of it. So the background to the shloka is that in response to Arjuna's Vishada, Krishna has explained that the body is ashashvata or temporary. This is in the shloka Dehinosmin Yatha Dehe, and that Atma is Nitya or permanent. Natve Vaham Jatunasam Natvam Neme Janadipaha. In that shloka, he's explained that. So if you know that the body is temporary and Atma is permanent, what are you lamenting about? If you are lamenting the body, then the body is temporary. If you are lamenting the Atma, then nothing happens to the Atma. Atma is permanent. It's because of contact between, further Krishna says, it's because of contact between the material object and the senses, our senses, that generate sukha and dukkha. And this is a very temporary experience. Also, one should just tolerate such an experience without getting too caught up in it and attached to it. This Krishna explains in Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha in that shloka. So it's only such a person who does not get attached and who responds with equanimity to both sukha and dukkha. Only such a person is eligible for amritatva or moksha. So the underlying message from all this seems to be, Arjuna, give up your unnecessary bandhu moha or attachment to your family members. However, there is another aspect of Arjuna's Vishada that Krishna is yet to address. So Arjuna feels that by waging this war, he is going to be the cause for his own family members to suffer and die. So why should he be the cause for his family members suffering? Also, what about the papa that comes with hurting and killing one's own family members? See, just because I know that Atma is Nitya or permanent and Deha is Anitya or temporary, and I have no moha towards my family members, does that automatically imply that I have the right to go kill them? If I have a right to go kill them, then who is ultimately in control of their fate? Am I in control of their fate? Why should I commit the papa of killing them? That would lead to problems. I mean, why take the trouble to get your hands dirty only to clean it later? Wouldn't it be just best to avoid dirtying your hands in the first place? So to answer this, question, I think, Krishna brings in the shloka, nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drashtontas tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. A couple of interpretations have been given that probably are not correct. I just wanted to touch upon those to the best of my knowledge before moving on to the actual meaning. If you just look at the word for word, nasato vidyate bhavo. For asat, there is no bhava. Na bhavo vidyate satah. For sat, there is no abhava. Or for that which is not there, there is no existence. For that which is there cannot be non-existence. Both these scenarios have been seen by Tattvajnanis. So this seems to be the superficial meaning of this. But is this really true? Can we say that that which is not there, for that which is not there, there is no existence? Or for that is there is no non-existence? Like, for example, today someone made a pot out of mud. Tomorrow the pot is going to be destroyed by someone. So it's quite possible that the pot exists today and does not exist tomorrow. My body exists today. Yesterday or a few years back, my body did not exist. My parents existed. Tomorrow, my children will exist. I'm not going to exist. So, if anything, the opposite seems to be true. That which is present today may be gone tomorrow, and vice versa. So this can't be the real meaning. Alternatively, if we take asat to mean deha and sat to mean atma, then the shloka could mean the deha has no permanent existence. On the other hand, atma has permanent existence. But as we've seen this, but this has already been said before. In Dehinosmin Yatha Dehe, Krishna has established already Deha is transient and impermanent. And in Natve Vaham, he's also established that Atma is permanent. So why does he need to repeat the same point again in this shloka? Further, the Deha exists. We see it as Pratyaksha Pramana. You and I can see our bodies. So how can we conclude based on this shloka that the body does not exist and only an Atma exists? That would contradict our own observation. So the way Krishna and Acharyas have interpreted the shloka, or meant the shloka to be, is a clue is given in the 17th chapter of the Gita by Krishna himself. Krishna says, Sadbhave sadubhave cha sadityetat prayujyate prashaste karmani tatha satshabda partha yujyate. So Krishna says that the sat shabda can be used for that, for sadbhava, that which is there, for sadhu bhava, or that is good things or good situations, and prashaste karmani, for good actions or good work. So if we take sat to mean prashaste karmani, or good actions, and bhava can mean existence or sukha, then the shloka would mean nasato vidyate bhavaha, na asataha vidyate bhavaha. From bad actions, there cannot be a good outcome. Na abhavo vidyate sataha. From good actions, no bad outcomes or no dukkha can occur. So for those who do bad actions, there can never be a good result. For those who do good actions, there can never be a bad result. So if you look in the context of Arjuna and his family members, if his family members have done good actions, that itself will lead them to sukha in this and the future janmas. If they have done bad actions, it will lead them to dukkha. The Kauravas, as we know, have all along engaged only in asat pravritti, in bad actions. So according to Krishna, the Kauravas and those who are supporting and encouraging the Kauravas, they will not experience sukha for their actions. As a result of their bad actions, their impending suffering has been pre-decided. This is the law of karma. Arjuna cannot change their fate. So there's no point in Arjuna crying about the fact that they are going to suffer and die. So Krishna tells Arjuna, you don't worry about their fate. You focus only on your swadharma, which, as a kshatriya, is to wage war to protect dharma. It is only your duty to do your swadharma as a service, as a puja to the Lord. Then the question, so when Krishna, when we think about it this way, then the question arises, so do satkarma as a puja to the Lord. What is it that exactly qualifies as satkarma? And the answer to that would be, if a karma is pleasing to the Lord, that is a real satkarma. Vyashema deva hitam yadayuhu. Only pure actions that are performed in accordance to Shastra and with the sole purpose of Hari Priti, only those actions can be called satkarma. If you do, on the other hand, if you do an action or make a concession just to please your family members, just to make them happy, in spite of all their wrongdoing, then that action of yours cannot be considered satkarma. It may appear as if they are going to suffer because you are waging war with them, but the fact is that they are suffering only because of their own actions. For example, in the middle of the war of the Mahabharata Yuddha, Bhimasena Devaru confronts Dronacharya and tells him that by opposing the Sajjanas, Pandavas are Sajjanas, by opposing them and by opposing Krishna, every additional day that you are alive is only causing you further harm. It's better that you die early. Vedavyasaru in the Bharata says, Huttam cha dattam cha tathaiva tishtati, sukritam dushkritam cha agre dhavati dhavati. All the good actions that you perform today will run ahead to protect and uplift you tomorrow. The bad actions that you do today, even those will run ahead of you and drag you down. This is Sarvakalika Satya that Krishna is reminding Arjuna in the shloka. But sometimes it appears to us as if bad people are getting a free hand, like they're freely getting away with all their bad deeds. It's only good people who are like suffering. But we have to understand that that is only because they have to accumulate more and more papa. For example, Tataka and Maricha, they kept repeatedly desecrating the yajna of Vishwamitra Rishi, who is a great jnani. But this anyaya ultimately led them to suffer a lot of dukkha. Conversely, Dhruvarajaru, Prahladarajaru, and Bhagavata, they seem to be being wronged. Like Dhruvarajaru was insulted by his own father. Prahladarajaru, though his father tried to repeatedly end his life, kill him, submit him. But their satkarmas always stood by them, protected them from every calamity, and led them to moksha ultimately. So further we can see, how do we know this to be true? This rule. Ubhayorapi drishtontas tvanayo tattvadarshibhihi. So ubhayoho, from good actions, the fact that from good actions there cannot be bad consequences and vice versa. Antaha, the final conclusion of this, tattvadarshibhihi drishtaha. So it has been known to the tattvajnanis. So Krishna says, don't take my word for it. All tattvajnanis have seen this to be true. So tattvajnanis and tattvabhimani devatas, by extension, have clearly seen these two and decisively concluded this to be true. We cannot change the consequences of our bad karmas by approaching tattvabhimani devatas like Rudra Devaru, Indra, Surya, Ganesha, because they are not independent doers and they are themselves bound by these same rules. So in our own deha, there are Jnanendriya and Karmendriya Abhimani devatas. They are all a sakshi to our actions. They are witness to our actions. Similarly, there are Kala Abhimani devatas, Dig Abhimani devatas, Panchabhuta Abhimani devatas. They're all tattvadarshis who witness all our actions. And these devatas clearly attest to the fact that satkarmas never lead to dukkha and vice versa. So if Arjuna is not an independent entity and everyone else is just bound by the karma, then who is conducting these actions? Who is responsible for connecting deha to atma and separating deha from atma? Like, for example, we can't decide who our next birth is going to be and what deha it's going to be and what kind of place we're going to be born. We have no control over all that. So in order to develop this samadrishti and become a dhira, it's important to understand the answer to this. And so here we come to the other meaning of this shloka. Asat as avyakta or mula prakriti and sat as vyakta or bhagavanta. So here we can say nasato vidyate abhavaha, na sataha vidyate abhavaha. So here Krishna explicitly introduces prakriti, mula prakriti and purusha as also eternal tattvas. A mud is needed to make a pot. So so here the mud is the upadana karana. That's the thing that's being used to make the pot. And the potter who makes the pot using the mud is the nimitta karana. Just like a potter uses mud to make a pot and later breaks up the pot to release the mud, similarly, Bhagavanta is the potter who creates the jagat and the panchapautika dehas and puts the jivas in them, in contact with them, and then separates them after dehanasha. So for our jagat, Mula Prakriti is the Upadana Karana and Bhagavanta is the Nimitta Karana. So the Jiva has no control or independence over selecting his Deha. So in order to have Samadrishti and become a Dhira, it's fundamental to realize this truth. Prakriti binds us to samsara. Bhagavanta can release us from samsara. It's because Prakriti and Bhagavanta that Arjuna has received this body, Bhishma has received this body, and Dronacharya, Kauravas have all received this body. And a bond of relationship has been created between all of them because of Bhagavanta and Prakriti. So Bhagavanta is present within everyone. He brings everyone to Srishti, and he's in charge of everything. So Arjuna, what is there for you to cry about? That's how Krishna concludes. Thank you very much. So we have to think 100 times before we perform any wrong act after understanding the meaning of the shloka. Sashtanga namaskara to Keshav uncle and everyone. Thank you. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Hare Srinivasa. Good job, Shyam. You have taken up a sloka, which is really a complex sloka. And the best thing is this is like a litmus test. If any book is there, if people say, no, you have only 1 minute to see whether that book is going in the right direction or not, you just see this sloka. If they have given a correct interpretation for this sloka, that means you can probably say that that book is going probably in the right direction. Just this one sloka is good enough for a litmus test. And Prahalad, he has taken up a word which is also a vairagya, a complex thing, because a lot of people have a lot of misunderstanding about that, and Prahalad wanted to upfront specify that vairagya is not what normally people think, just give up everything and go. So he emphasized that and said what exactly vairagya is. So the word itself comes from viraga. That V prefix is a very unique prefix, one of the unique prefixes. It gives two different meanings. One is Visheshartha, another is Vigatartha, that means positive and negative. So Viraga is Vishesha Raga is attachment. Vigata Raga is a kind of detachment. Vigata Raga. So it's a detached attachment. People they say use again a detached attachment is what they. That means what exactly is this? Whatever is Bhagavat Sambandha Vishayas, be attentive to them, be attracted to them, be focused on them. Not that you do only that is possible, because that has to be the main goal. And Bhagavad Viruddha Vishayas, not Bhagavad Itara Vishayas only, Bhagavad Viruddha Vishayas, whatever goes against Paramatma. There you have Vigata Raga, that means be away from them. So that means in our daily activities itself, whatever we do, the Vritti dharmas and the real Jivana dharmas, we go ahead, Sharira Madhya Kalu Dharma Sadhanam, while we are doing the dharma, have the proper understanding how much balance should be done, how we should proceed in our life, how we should be directed towards Paramatma, and avoid things which are going against Paramatma. This is the whole bhava of viraga, that is vairagya. And Prahalad has taken up one occasion in Bhagavad Gita where vairagya has been spoken of. So he mentioned about Bhagavanta saying in 6th Adhyaya, 35th sloka, which is Ashamshay Mahabaho. There, Krishna emphasized that, yes, it's very difficult to control the mind. Mind is hard to control. You need two tools. Two powerful tools are the only way to control the mind. One is Abhyasa, one is Vairagya. These two tools, Abhyasa is a practice. But how do you practice? What should you practice? Vairagya tells you what kind of practice you should be. Vairagya is what you have to practice. So by doing the practice, proper practice of proper Vairagya is the tool for controlling the mind. So that tells you the direction how we should proceed in our life. And then there is another place, 13th Adhyaya, 9th sloka also. There also Vairagya is mentioned. Indriyartheshu Vairagyam Anahankara evacha Janma Mrutyu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. So there also the importance of Vairagya is spoken about. The Indriyas are the ones which can take us away from the right direction of Vairagya. So that is where we have to concentrate. So it's like that there's another occasion also, another place that in 18th they were doing Upasamhara. In 18th Adhyaya, 52nd sloka also, Vairagyam Nityam, Vairagyam Samupashitaha. One who has surrendered to Vairagya Bhava, Vivikta Sevi, Laghvashi, Yata Vakkaya Manasaha, Dhyana yoga paraha nityam vairagyam sampash. So the vairagya, we can have all the time vairagya and still be in samsara. Like Padmapatra Mimambhasa. That's how we have to be. So that's what the Bhagavad Gita stress upon. So vairagya also a complex topic, and Prahlad had done a good job by concentrating on one concept and trying to give the right understanding of that word. And Shyam, you have taken up a complex verse. And one thing I want to mention on this one, you have touched upon whatever are possible in a short time to cover. Acharya, he has done Bhashya and Tatparya and gave one flow for Bhashya and one flow for Tatparya. There, in Bhashya, Acharya has given a split which is against all the other people. Acharya alone, until Acharya's time and even after Acharya's time, other schools, nobody gave that kind of a split. Na asato vidyate abhavaha. Avagraha he brought, and na abhavo vidyate for sat and asat. For both, abhava does not exist. This is the Acharya gave, and a lot of people, hey, whatever is popular, you're going against it because you don't know how to interpret. So that's why you have taken abhava for both of them, because you don't know how to give the interpretation by taking the popular patha. This is the accusation a lot of people make, but they forget the fact that in Tatparya, Acharya has taken whatever is the patha. I'm not talking about the interpretation. I'm talking about just the pada cheda. All others, whatever padacheda have taken, Acharya has taken the same padacheda in Tatparya. Na asato vidyate bhavaha, na abhavaha vidyate sataha. So he did not put avagraha in the first one. And as Shyam mentioned, bhava sat, abhava asat shabdas are defined in Bhagavad Gita itself further in the future. Sat and bhava represent positive things, positive actions, and happiness. Asat and abhava represent negative things, negative actions, and dukkha. So even in our regular life, whatever we do, if we do a good project, we get a good result. We do a bad project, we get a bad result. From good, good comes. Good only comes out of good, bad only comes out of bad. So Arjuna's objection, hey, I'm fighting this terrible war, so I get sin only. No, this is Dharma Yuddha. From Dharma Yuddha, you get punya only, not papa, because Dharma Yuddha is the right thing. From a good action, which is Dharma Yuddha, you get punya only, not papa. So don't be worried about it. You will not incur any sin. So be assured. This assurance is given in Tatparyartha, in Bhashyartha, a different Nityatva, where Krishna earlier talked about already Nityatva Nabhava Vidyate. So Krishna already mentioned that all of us, we exist at all times. That has been mentioned already in Krishna mentioned that. So that has been already done. So that thing is emphasized. Nityatva of Mula Prakriti and Paramatma are emphasized in Bhashya. This is what has been done. So a very complex verse. So Shyam, you have done a good job. And both of you have done a wonderful job. Thank you very much. So, I mean, we can talk hours on that, but I just wanted to give some brief remarks about that. Wonderful job. And I encourage all others also to come forward and do Anuvada of their understanding. Thank you very much. Hare Srinivasa.
Dhanyavad Sri Keshav Rao. I think the explanation you talked about Vairagya, I had a question on. So you are saying, what you're saying is Vairagya, so it is made up, the root word is Raga, and we can mean positive, and it can also connote negative as well. So the attachment towards the Lord and the detachment from other topics is what you're saying that Vairagya can mean. And we need to inculcate and do the abhyasa on that one. Both trying to build the attachment towards Lord and detachment from other topics. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so now we can do the concluding prayer and then end the session. Thank you.
धन्यवाद श्री केशवराव, शास्त्री नमस्कार.
Thank you.
And
Hare Srinivas. Yeah. प्रातः प्रकृति सायान्तं सायादि प्रातरं तथा यत्करोमि जगन्नाथ तदस्तु तव पूजनं प्रातः कालादिकं नित्य नैमित्तिकं तथा केशवाराधनार्थाय करिष्येऽहं तवाज्ञया. ओम शांति शांति शांति.
हरिः ओम्. धन्यवाद.
Shri Krishna.
Dhanyavada.
Hare Krishna.
Panchanga Namaskar Acharya Re. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very nice presentation. All. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Krishna. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you.